Alright, let's get a new 30-minute game going. 30 minutes. I believe we are rated. Yup. Queen's Gambit. I do want to try out a new. Let's see what this looks like. Looks kind of nice. Alright. Go for a Queen's Gambit. They may take. That's ideal for us. We get a very quick development out of that. But it is a big choice for black to make, so they might need to wait for a little bit to make that decision. What is our opponent thinking about today? Must have a lot on their mind. Ooh, interesting. I don't know what to do with this. We move our knight out. I feel like they're likely to take. And then what do? We take ourselves with our knight? That feels decent. So let's go ahead and play knight c3 and see what happens. I think we'll want to play e3 to maybe reinforce this pawn. Well, no, if they've taken, then there won't be any pawn to reinforce. I still like the idea of e3 to free up the light-squared bishop, so we can get these pieces developed and we can get castled as quickly as possible. But already an interesting sort of curveball from our opponent. What a nice way to start the day. Yeah, they take, so we'll move forward with our plan to capture. I guess we can take this pawn if we want. Maybe that's a better idea before playing e3, because I think they're likely just to take it. We don't want to be giving away free material. And this is sort of a nice threat that we can throw down. I guess, too, queen comes out. No, they're not. This pawn is hanging, is a small concern. So if the queen comes out with check, I'm not worried about losing this pawn. For some reason in my head, I was like, oh, if the queen comes out to a4 and delivers check, which of course is impossible, that's r squared for delivering check. Actually, is that an option? We deliver check? No, they have a bunch of ways to get out of it. So what do we do here? We deliver check. I think they're likely to come out to here to block it. I think we take their pawn, trade here. And we're sort of extended in this position, which I don't love. But I think that's probably the move. Let's see what happens. They take, we take back. Their queen can't recapture because they lose the queen. And we're just up a pawn right now. Also, by placing their bishop here, they've blocked development of their e-file pawn. I guess they could play like g6, get their bishop out, get their knight out, and then castle that way. Sort of a King's Indian defense idea. Let's see what happens. Our opponent has chatted us, "Hi, bro." How very nice. Okay, so our queen is hit. Could get out of the way here. It feels maybe overly aggressive. Where can we move our queen? Not thinking very hard this morning, so I'm just gonna look at our options. Nope. Nope. Knight hits that, knight hits that. We certainly have to move the queen. Maybe just back to the starting square. I don't want to put too much effort into this. Just out and back. I think that's an idea in, like, the Scandinavian defense, right? It's something like e4, d5, e takes d, queen takes d, knight comes out, and then queen just immediately back to the starting square. Something like that. I don't know what the rationale behind it is, but there you go. I guess now they could take, take. Queen comes out with check. I respond here, and then they're able to take back because the bishop is blocking my queen. So maybe in that case, well, I wouldn't be able to play b4. Ooh, okay. So our opponent could win their pawn back. They've constructed a maneuver that perhaps will allow them to win a pawn. Okay, and they play b5. We do, like, how does this work? We take here, they take there, we take their knight. I don't know about all this. What if we just play e3, get ready to develop a piece, and sort of by the same token reinforce our c4 pawn from capture? I think that's a nice idea. I know I've been bitten in the past by sort of capture move orders, so we will be aware of, I don't know if they choose to do, like, bishop takes first versus something else. Okay, so they take. We will recapture and develop our knight. I mean, our bishop. We could come out all the way to here and pin the knight to the king. That's actually kind of a nice idea. Do that. They would maybe have to come back. This is pretty exposed over there, and we're starting to make strides on getting our king castled and into safety. All right. Well, come out here. Could they be going somewhere? They're sort of hitting this square where knight would like to move to. I think most likely, so if they, like, capture, but we don't have a way to recapture this bishop. Move out here. Ooh, this is already sort of a fraught position. So if we move out here, and imagine they weren't in check. They could take, we wouldn't be able to take back because we would lose our queen. But the fact of the matter is, it is check, and they will have to defend it. So they could either move the knight back, which I think would be disastrous. Well, if they move the knight back to here, then we take it, and then we're threatening the rook. Yeah, so let's, how do we want to deliver check? We want to do it with the queen. If we do it with our queen, and their queen comes out, then we have the bishop pinning the queen to the king. That feels like a juicy move. Deliver check. They can't capture right now because they're in check. We've also added a defender to this bishop. It's another advantage of queen to a4 check. Let's see what they, I think most likely we'll get bishop back to d7. Yeah. So I think move our bishop out of harm's way, sort of bring it into the fray. I don't think this is a great idea, actually. I think we're just going to trade a lot of material, and it's not going to be very exciting. It's going to be a pretty sort of a slog of an end game, because I'll just be up a pawn, and it'll be very theoretical, tactical. But we'll see. We'll see what happens. So if they take back. Our knight is hanging, but it's not attacked right now. Their knight is hitting the square of where I think our bishop would like to be. So if they move out here, we can take, they take back, and then we take. Okay, this makes more sense. We take back. Probably. No, I don't think it makes sense to move their knight. I feel just overextended. I don't like this tactical sequence. I would like to be developing pieces off of the back rank instead of this. I suppose I sort of invited this. I sort of signed up for this by getting my queen out so early. Okay. So they pin their knight to their king. They don't have an easy way to get out, so let's just get castled in a hurry. I'm expecting to see e6 to try to kick our knight away. Or perhaps... Okay, that makes more sense. So I don't think we need to try any shenanigans. Like, we could... I mean, this just loses the knight, right? Like, we don't want to be doing that. We'll just move back to a nice... C3 is a good development square for the knight. I don't think we're blundering anything. We have to be aware of this diagonal that's opened up. Sort of expecting to see a6 next to also kick our queen away. I might just move back to a4. So we see a6, back to a4. And their queen side is pretty opened up at this point, so it's something to be aware of. Where else could we go? They play a6. See a lot of other great options. I mean, we could advance to c6, also maintaining the pin if their queen tries to come out this way. We get the rook, but I think that's very unlikely to happen. And then we're ready to castle. Yeah, so there's a6. Back to a4 feels simple, safe. They're guarding these squares that their bishop might come out to. Yeah, I don't want to play too crazy. Plus, if their rook moves out, we get another free pawn. Do anything with our knight? It's sort of an idea. These are both squares that are protected by the queen. We hit their queen, breaking the pin. Now our opponent needs to figure out how to get their king to safety, which is no small task. And then what do we do in the meantime? We'll get castled, and then we'll have probably a couple of moves to develop pieces, make some plans, sort of start advancing things off to their side of the board. If the knight comes out, yeah, they're looking to get castled soon. Let's go and get castled, and then I think h3 as well, just to prevent this idea. Certainly this is dangerous, like knight to g4, queen to h4, and then queen to h2, checkmate, protected by the knight. So I'd like to be aware of that, especially, well, I guess right now if their knight comes out here, whoop, we get it for free. Sort of nice having your queen all the way on the other side of the board. This knight can't go anywhere, or can't move to these squares, which are the most advanced. We could do something like, oh, no, this loses it. Don't like that. But I was looking at the idea of knight gradually to d6. Okay, they can get castled. They've got another piece hitting this h2 pawn. The bishop is hanging. Take this moment to develop our rook. Make it move again before the castle. And this, I'm actually not hating this. So we get our knight out. We trade off this problematic, our opponent's problematic knight. And then if their queen moves, like it just did, we can maybe pick up this rook. Yeah, and I mean, moving our knight to e4 also, it adds another attacker to this square, which they only have one defender right now. I don't see an easy way for them to add another defender. Let's do that. We do need to be aware rooks are not connected, so this rook is hanging. Ugh. Once again, I think I should have finished my development before getting into shenanigans. But I think if they take here, we take back, and then they will probably castle. Connecting their rooks. Oh my gosh. Boy, I missed that battery. So they get a free pawn. Where is it good to move? I have two legal moves. I think back to f1 invites ideas of back rank mate, but I don't see how they would execute those right now. We could certainly, no, I have to move my king. We could do like here, here. Yeah. Let's see if we can make something out of that. We could maybe... No. Okay, well they won their pawn back and I'm sort of in a vulnerable position now. Fortunately, I don't see a way they can route their pieces to our side of the board to deliver anything along the h-file. We'll have to remain vigilant. Okay, they castle. Move here. So what if we, well, I was going to say if we go here, then they can move their knight here, and we're not able to capture the bishop because they've added a defender. I was thinking, can we scare or like capture this knight, but they're likely to just capture this way, and we have the same problem. Guess if we do that, No, we can't then. Oh, is that an option? So if we capture here, so sacrifice the exchange, trade a rook for a knight, and then bring our pawn up here. So we're trading a rook for 2 pieces. Well, I guess here. And then they have a very dangerous idea of queen back down to d1. Well, it's protected by our queen. So this is a little bit dangerous, but I'm going to go for it. Let's live it up. I guess if they take back with the queen, we can ruin their pawn structure. Oh, if they take back with the queen, we get the piece for free. Okay. Okay. This feels good. This feels great. So they take back. So yeah, if they take back with the queen, the bishop has lost its defender. So we get to take the bishop back. They take back with the knight. We move our pawn up, trapping the bishop. And then we're up a piece that way. Great. So we move our pawn up, trapping the bishop. We have sort of the luxury of recapturing with our... I don't love recapturing with our knight, actually. And then do they have options for counterplay? The check here that blunders the queen a couple different ways. Our bishop on c1 hasn't moved, but it is very well protected, which is nice. Let's see. What else can we do? And then our position isn't like amazing, so I think we just need to start to make improving moves to develop our pieces sort of into the center. Knight to d4 cuts off this knight for the protection of the queen, which I don't like very much. Bishop, we could play b3 and then bishop to b2, which I really like. We get control over this awesome diagonal, which I would love to use for attacking. Yeah, look at that. Bishop to b3. Or sorry, pawn to b3. Bishop to b2. Maybe get our rook out. You can go all the way to... Okay. They take... So we're sort of spoiled with options to retake. I like the idea of capturing with this knight. Capturing with either knight would reinforce the other knight, which is cool. Capturing with this knight opens up this 4th rank for a queen. And allows, I think, some nice attacking thoughts once we get our bishop onto b2. Let's do that. And then we're up the exchange. I guess down another pawn. They have 1, 2, 3, 4, 5 pawns. We only have 4. They have 4 minor pieces, and we have 5. So I like where we're at. Okay. It's a check. I think sort of a meaningless check, unless they have they don't really have any attacking prospects. We could, I mean, this, it doesn't forfeit the knight, but we moved this knight here for a reason. I really like it there. And then they don't have any other pieces on this side of the board. Their rooks haven't really come out yet. So I think we'll just scoot over to G1. Being aware of back rank mate ideas. Like if we moved, gosh, if we were here, no, even that wouldn't do it. It's probably a good move for our opponent. Scare our queen away. But if we are uncontested and okay, so they forfeit their knight. Are they looking to capture something? This pawn is defended. This pawn is defended by the king. And then these two knights are defending each other. They need some way to generate a threat. Maybe it's like knight to e5 and then knight to g4. And then they can hit us here. So we can defuse that by just taking their knight. I'm pretty sure the queen can't checkmate on its own. One threat that I'm seeing now is like a rook out to here. And then down would be very bad. Well, I should have considered that before taking what appeared to be a free knight. Because that would be checkmate. Yeah. So they have this sort of this mating net, I think is what it's called. So they get a rook down onto d1, my king doesn't have anywhere to go, and that's checkmate. Oh boy. So I can move back to a4, defending the d1 square and preventing this idea of effectively a back rank mate. My other options, their queen is undefended, so they can't move like here, because the king just captures. But this is going to get sort of fraught fairly quickly. So what if they do something like, they want to get their rook out, maybe to like here? That would be dangerous. But let's say queen to a4, rook to d5. I make some move, maybe like b3 like we planned. Rook to here, then that happens. Doesn't seem like the end of the world. We trade off another piece. Our opponent, I think, is generating some wonderful attacking ideas, but the more pieces we trade off the board, the less potent those become. I'm expecting to see like rook to d5 in preparation for something like rook to f5. We could also just move our queen on over to f4, offering a trade of the queens, which I think would favor us, because we would have 4 pieces to their 2. We would just need to be more effective at coordinating those pieces. Rooks together a little bit easier to coordinate, I think. But just with our overwhelming majority, I think we would be in a very good spot. Hoping to see rook to d1 just to pick up a free rook. I don't think that's out of the question. That's sort of the level that I'm playing at. Okay, yeah. rook to d5. So I think, well, I guess it's another 2 pieces for a rook trade. So if they move their rook to f5, take, knight takes the rook, queen takes the knight, and then I might have a moment I can move my knight back. Okay. So I say we move forward with our plan. If we play like this, if they move their other rook out, threatening like rook to d1, we have a moment to play bishop to c2, adding another defender to this d1 square. This rook comes out by staying exactly where it was. So I feel well defended enough, unless I'm missing something. Sort of expecting to see rook to f5, in which case I take. And then we have plenty of time to figure out if there are any complications. We have 15 minutes on the clock. So I'm feeling pretty good. I think we're trading pieces fairly effectively. We had a neat tactic. Oh, no! Oh, fabulous. Big miss on my part. So by moving the pawn to b3, I've removed the queen as a defender of the d1 square. We have one legal move. They can't do this. Oh my gosh, I missed that. Great, great attack from our opponent. I don't think they have quite enough gas in the tank to pull it off, but I'm excited to find out. So if they get their rook out, I'm very happy that we had this h2 square to escape to. They had that neat queen bishop battery earlier in the game that stole that from us. Feel very fortunate to have an escape square. What else can we look out for? The queen and the rook cannot be forked right now. This pattern of like, they're on the same color square, so it's like one thing you look for when you're looking for knight forks, but there's only one square in between them, so there's no option for like, where would the knight be that hits both of those pieces? Yeah, doesn't work. I don't think our opponent can quite pull it off. We have just so many defenders on the board. Another option is, could we do like knight to d4 as a defensive mechanism? Cutting off the rooks from each other? I think so. But I think our play right now very much depends on what our opponent does. I'm having a hard time envisioning the sort of attack that they might pull together. But if we put our knight out on d4, where does their queen go? Not here. This, so fortunately, this h1 square is defended by our knight on g3. Which I think we had the knights on e2 and e4, so it's sort of inevitable that a knight would land on g3, but I'm just very lucky that that happened. Okay. Opponent takes on f2, which was formerly defended by the king. Oh, we have one legal move in this position. Let's go ahead and make it. Maybe... Our knights are defending each other. This bishop is defended. This pawn is defended. Oh me, oh my. I almost want it to work for our opponent because they're so close to getting a checkmate. They got just this wonderful attack going. The queen and the rook. Maybe even intentional knight sacrifice. I don't know. They didn't play that next move very quickly, so I don't know if that move was intentional. But yeah, I almost want it to work out for them, but I don't think I'm not seeing it. Maybe if they get some pawns involved, they might have some additional ideas. But I don't think that's quite gonna do it. Queen up to here. How else can they deliver check that doesn't lose them a piece? Rook out to h1 loses a piece. Queen to g2, or queen to h2 loses the piece. Queen takes g3, loses the piece. Queen to f5 loses the piece. So I don't think they have a way to deliver another check. So we start thinking about how do we dig ourselves out of this hole. I think maybe the answer is bishop to c2, or bishop to b2, and then threatening, queen comes over and checkmate like that. It's easy enough to subvert if they play. They could play g6 or they could play f6. Both, I think, decent moves. If we were threatening that, but I think the big thing here is bishop to c2 either kicks their rook out of there or forces a trade of rooks, which would be super in our favor just because we have so many more pieces on the board. I'm realizing now that even though we had that clever tactical find of trading a rook for, I think, a knight and a bishop, having the queen and two rooks on the board is still a very dangerous attacking force. So let's see, our opponent has about 7.5 minutes left. What would I do if I was our opponent? Does doubling the rooks accomplish anything for them? I don't think so, because they need to come over to here. They would need to, like, this is maybe a better option, like rook to d5 and then rook over. Well, no, I mean, that's also protected by the knight. Our knights are fabulous defensive pieces right here. Really putting in the extra work. Maybe, well, I was going to say like rook up to here and then over here, but then even with queen takes knight, it just doesn't work. So I think, I mean, I said it once, I'll say it again, we just have far too many pieces on the board that are acting as very effective defenders for our opponent to be able to pull off the attack that they want to pull off. Oh, here's an idea. What about like queen to f3, pinning the knight to the king, and then the rook slides over. Ooh. Oh, I think that's a good move. So queen to f3, pinning the knight to the king. I make some developing move, and then their rook slides over to h1. That would be checkmate. I do have this defender on the back rank, so I don't think that works out. Yep, they're getting their pawns involved. Maybe here. Ooh, almost moved my knight there. So if they move their pawn one more, and then take, well, no, then I can take back. I don't see. What are they trying to do? Can they put a piece here? They could get their queen, like, up. Oh, they don't have a way to get their queen up. And then over. And then that would be sort of a new attacking threat. If I guess by advancing their pawn one more, they are threatening my knight. Ooh, and you know what else they've done? They removed an escape square for my king. I can't escape to here anymore. So if they found some way to remove this knight, no, I think yeah, just bringing another defender into the mix with bishop to c2, exposing our a1 rook, feels like the best move. I think queen to f3 would have been really good there for our opponent. It might still be good if they go up and then over. Well, if they go up, I take the rook. Okay. Well, here's a fork. But I think I'm inviting, honestly, probably inviting checkmate if I do something like that. Our bishop is undefended. We could do something crazy like, does this work out? Bishop sacrifice. We assume that the king takes. They don't have to, because they're not in check. Get out of here for check. And then maybe we have decent attacking prospects with the queen. So let's file that away as an option. Could get our rook out here, threatening their queen. And the queen might be trapped at that point. Let's take a look at that. Well, no, the queen can go to e3. Yeah, if we move our rook over there, yeah, because our bishop is no longer defending the e3 square. And then that can be sort of the same idea as queen to f3, again, pinning our knight to our king, which I think we would like to avoid. I think this probably just blunders both of our knights, even though it is technically a fork. Go up here. Gosh. A tough game. Sacrifice. King takes bishop. Go to check. I assume they move closer to us. If we move, can we just offer a queen trade? I think that's probably the most expedient way out of this mess. We move our queen here. We can recapture with the pawn or the knight. Is a queen trade worth losing a bishop? We can also move up here. I think maybe we get our bishop out of harm's way, because it's defended by the knight, and then offer the queen trade. So I'm assuming something like bishop up to c2, rook out, or bishop out to c3, rook out to c2, and then we can offer the queen trade. Let's do that. I think we're starting to run lower on time, and I think simplifying here would be to our advantage, because we simply have more pieces on the board. And I think we can pretty expediently work to a winning endgame. opponent has 5.5 minutes to figure this out. They take the knight. Do they have an idea? Oh, this is exciting. So we take back. Where can they go? They could go up, check. I don't think they have enough pieces on the board to force us into checkmate. We have these guarding the first and fourth ranks. Oh, how exciting. Let's see if they can pull it off. Oh, they just take the knight. I think, right? Yeah, because that piece is hanging. Gosh. So I don't think they can deliver checkmate. But I think maybe with this maneuver we have lost a little bit of an advantage. I think if they capture back, then it's their queen and rook against our queen, rook, and bishop. So they're doing the same maneuver that we did earlier. They don't want to take the knight for free. I think we move. This is dangerous. This square, I just frankly do not care for it. We move away and sort of towards the queen, towards the aggressor, and away from the edge of the board, where I think there are potentially dangerous shenanigans against the edge of the board. There aren't any pieces. If the queen was here, okay, there they take the knight. Oh, I see. And maybe they're getting an extra piece out of the bargain. So if we move here, they fork our king and bishop. Oh, very clever. So I think we need to move down here. So I almost got two pieces for the price of one. Very clever. All right. They've got 3 more pawns than we do, but we have a dark square bishop, which I think is very dangerous. Okay, they managed to find a way to fork our pieces anyways. Gross. Let's move out into the center. They get our piece. Very strong attack by our opponent. I missed a lot of this and that. I think we will pick up a pawn. I don't know if that's strictly the wisest thing we could be doing. Oh, this is good to know too. Our rook will be hanging. Once, I mean, it is hanging right now, but it will be hanging and under attack. Yeah, so we need to move our rook out of the way. Let's just move it right up next to our king. And then we need to play thoughtfully to make sure we don't lose any more pieces. We are up against the edge of the board. We have one legal move here. Expecting rook out. And then maybe this isn't the best idea. I mean, that does get us down to like protecting the f1 square in pretty short order. Back to be next to the rook. I think they're just trying to fork us with the rook again. And then we don't have any attacking prospects, really. We could do this little dance of like back and forth and draw the game, which I think would be a sort of a disappointing end to the game. There's their rook, okay. Where's their rook coming out to? Here. Queen delivers checkmate. So I think if we maybe like ignore this pawn for now. Well, the rook does need to come out to like be part of the board. So can we be greedy and snatch up this pawn? Is that necessary? Do we have any better ideas? Or do we just move directly here? I can't believe how bad that b3 move was. That really put us into shambles. I think I'll take the pawn. The rook still needs to come out to d5, and we have a moment to maybe move out to e2, aligning our queen and our rook, which they have not done yet. I guess that's not a rook trade, that's just abandons a rook. Do they want to move down to, like, here? Be a scary tactical maneuver. I think we have, if they do move down to d2, we have e2 to meet it. It's getting very fraught, but our opponent only has 2 minutes left to figure it out. Yeah, once again, we have our one legal move. They don't have a way to put us into check either, so we do have this check option of queen to c8. I don't know if that does anything for us. Okay, here we go. So this is checkmate. Oh, that's very good. So I think we move down to f1 to block checkmate ideas. Move down here, we lose the queen to the rook, and then it's a queen and a king against whatever, and that's bad for us. So here, we offer a trade of the queens. We're up against a wall, but their king is so far away that I don't think they have checkmate ideas. Again, it is possible to checkmate with just a king and a rook, but the king and the rook need to be close to each other. You can't deliver checkmate like this. This is not good for us, honestly. I think maybe we have the option to run a pawn up the board. Let's see. 1, 2, 3, 4, 5. 1, 1, 2, 2, 3, 3, 4, 4, 5. I think maybe we win that race. I think the move for our opponent would be... Ooh. Are they going to be able to pull it off? We can't. If I move my queen there, they take it, and that's no good. Is this checkmate? King there, rook there. Oh my gosh, I think they did it. So yeah, king to h1, I think is unstoppable. Checkmate. Yeah. Okay, so I think survive another turn. Queen to g2 is our only option. Back to f1. Again, h1 is checkmate. Oh, and I think this is also checkmate. Fabulous. Yeah, let's look at this review. Our opponent played a very strong endgame. Oh, how exciting. This is the first loss to the series. I think, yeah, it looks like we were holding our own pretty well. And I made some blunder that cost us the game. Let's see. This is already off to a bad start. So I should have taken with the queen here. Okay, so a rough opening for both of us. Okay, so I need to do some opening study here. I think my misgivings about the opening were correct. Yep. Okay, what was... Oh, I see. The better idea here was, instead of rook takes d7, I could have won the bishop outright by going f4, which, same idea, cuts off the queen from the bishop. Yeah, okay. Yeah, so still the same idea. Did I miss something about... Missed an opportunity to win a free piece. Okay, this is all perfect plate. Okay. I think I executed that about as well as I could have. Yep. Okay, so this was a blunder. This was correct. I want a free knight. My queen to safety. Okay. Offering the queen trade here would have been the better move. That makes a lot of sense. b3 was a big mistake. I guess not the blunder that I was expecting. Accuracy. H3 is forced. H5 is accuracy. b2. Win material through an eventual pin. Okay. Huge blunder. An opponent, yeah, allowed our opponent to capture a knight. Yeah. So c3 was a pretty big mistake here. I think part of it, oh gosh, yeah, I should have offered this. Move will cost you bishop. Yep. Well, I guess, I mean, I was going to lose the bishop anyways. Jeez, yeah, and then checkmate was perhaps not unavoidable, but yeah, jeez. Brutal endgame. Our opponent played very well and attacked very strongly. Well, I have some opening and endgame study to do. I'm sort of happy with the tactical find in the middle game, but I think reasoning about these complicated positions, I think, still needs to come a long way, so I've got some work to do. Well, more on that next time. Have a good one, everyone.